With Yu-Gi-Oh!, new support can go one of two ways. Either it raises an old archetype to new levels, or absolutely kill the momentum of something that was riding high. Recently, the deck that the folks at Konami have decided to give new support in Master Duel was none other than Triple D. And since then, Triple D has gone from occasional usage to surprisingly common in Ring, even in Diamond tier. So how does that happen? What changed in this archetype? Well, I'll tell you. But first, let's introduce Triple D itself. This video was suggested to me by Curious. So if you want to suggest videos, let me know in the comments and get subscribed. Triple D, or Different Dimension Demons, were introduced in 2015 in the set Clash of Rebellions. They are all fiend monsters inspired by ancient kings and conquerors, like Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, and Joan of Arc. And yes, she totally fits in. She's already fitting in with those Triple Ds. And they utilize every form of extra deck summoning. These guys were introduced in the Arc 5 era of the game, which introduced a lot of complicated, gimmicky archetypes. And hoo boy, Triple D is one of the most complicated of them. But not in the way you'd expect. It's less so the rulings of the cards are complicated and more so the end game, because as mentioned before, they use every kind of extra deck summoning method. Pendulum, Xyz, Synchro, Fusion, and yes, even Links. They also are divided into two tiers, Double D and Triple D, with Double D referring to weaker monsters and Triple D referring to higher tier monsters. For the sake of not confusing people, I'm gonna mostly stick with Triple D for the video, and there are plenty of options to choose from in terms of what monsters to add to the deck, with everything ranging from destruction, disruption, negates, and more. So let's focus on the deck that's been going around. Now, as far as the main deck is concerned, we want to focus on monsters that can get us to our extra deck monsters as soon as possible. Swirl Slime, for instance, is an obvious one, as it's essentially a polymerization that activates from the hand and can be banished from the graveyard to special summon a Triple D monster from the hand. And considering that several Triple D monsters have effects that revive other Triple D monsters from the graveyard when one is summoned, you could definitely see the advantage to this. Some other ones are the tuner Double D Lamia, who can be special summoned from the hand or graveyard by discarding a Double D card or a Dark Contract card. Griffin, who can be special summoned if a Double D monster is out. Another important factor is the Dark Contract spell and trap card. There are several of these and they all have different effects, but we mainly want two primarily. Dark Contract with the Gate and Swamp King. Gate allows you to search a Triple D card from your deck, and Swamp King allows you to fuse with cards in your hand, graveyard, and field, albeit they are banished when fused. They also cost 1000 life points to keep on the field, so keep that in mind. Now that we got a good chunk of the main deck out of the way, let's move on to the extra deck where the magic happens. First up, we have Flame King Genghis, which is normally the first one you go for, as he only requires 2 Double D monsters, and when a Double D monster is special summoned to the field, he can revive a Double D monster in the graveyard. Then there's Flame High King Genghis, who is an upgraded form, being able to revive with a normal and special summon, and to get a spell or trap activation during your turn. Those are our main fusions, and for Synchro, there's only really one we're concerned about. Curse High King Siegfried, who during either player's turn can negate one face-up spell or trap card on the field, until the next standby phase, including stuff that was just activated. As far as links go, there's only one, and it's very important. Abyss King Gilgamesh. While he prevents you from being able to special summon anything but Triple D monsters that turn, it's well worth it as he automatically sets up the Pendulum Zone for you at the cost of 1000 life points. And if he's destroyed by an opponent's card effect or attacking monster, you could summon a Triple D monster from your extra deck or graveyard in defense mode. Now for Xyz, there's a lot to tackle here. First up is Wave King Caesar, who when he's sent from the field to the graveyard can add a Dark Contract card to your hand and detach a material to revive as many monsters from your graveyard that were destroyed that turn. Then there's Marksman King Tell, who could be summoned over Caesar. He can inflict 1000 points of damage if he took any effect damage that turn, while also draining 1000 attack and defense from any face-up monster. And if sent from the field to the graveyard, can send a Double D or Dark Contract card from your deck to the graveyard. Then there's Wave High King Caesar, who when your opponent activates an effect that special summons a monster, can negate or destroy the card by detaching the material, and it's not once per turn, and boost a Triple D monster's attack points. And finally, the main monster that resulted in this deck seeing a resurgence, the Visor King Deus Machinix. He can be brought out by using any kind of Triple D extra deck monster as material, regardless of type, who, once per chain, when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, can detach 2 materials from it or destroy a Dark Contract card you have to attach that opponent's card to it as material. And again, that's once per chain, meaning you could do it multiple times per turn. Also, you can turn him into a Pendulum Stone card at the standby phase, and honestly, that effect not really all that great. Ugh. There are a few others like Kali Yuga who, if brought out, negates any other activated effect on your opponent's field, which is pretty nice, albeit tricky to do, especially on your opponent's turn, but I mainly wanted to focus on the primary deck because this is the one that's been getting really popular in ranked. But what also makes it highly desirable is that for such a high powered deck, it's not overly expensive. The only URs Triple D have are in the extra deck, which for a diamond tier deck is honestly refreshing. That being said, Triple D can be complicated, so definitely look up guides for how it works, as well as some deck lists for it. I'll put a link to some in the description. So, along with my medal of money friendly, I'll also give it the new medal of big brain. It has a low cost of entry, but does require a bit more thought put into it than some other decks. But I think it's well worth your time. Let me know in the comments if you use or have used Triple D, and let me know how it went for you. Thank you for watching, please subscribe, and remember,
coming at ya! Yeah!